Welcome back to LEGO Wars in the final heat of Series 6. Last time out we saw Shatterstar return to form, as we've seen with a number of bots as they went undefeated while Ganymede threw away their chance of another bracket spot by bidding it against Chomp Romp. This week it's finally time for our now two-time runners-up Duck to start their campaign to try and go one better. Alongside them are the 27th seeds and previous grand finalists in their own right, Kraken, aiming to rid themselves of their own continual weapon troubles. Let's see the final trio that will join our seeds tonight.
First, from Palo Alto, California, and seeded number 2, Duck.
The veteran box is frankly the master of grinding out a win in LEGO Wars, and I'm sure they'll find a way to repeat this form again tonight.
From Titusville, Florida, and seeded number 27, Kraken.
The former grand finalists have ditched the hammer saw elements to their weapon mech this series in a bid to make it more reliable at last, but I fear the drive could be their true weak spot this time.
From Corsham, Cow Tools.
The sophomore Thagomizer has had a complete rebuild to help deliver some more consistent hits, but we all know, like with bolts, Mini Milk is the main character and will drag them through.
From Shaftesbury, Kickflip.
The Zungaili Big Wheeler is hoping to quite literally run over their opponents and then do a stunt for good measure with that strong looking disc.
From Yeovil, Ice Climbers.
The bane of my existence in Series 5 is back for more and promised to be just as annoyingly speedy around the arena to run rings around the opposition. Let's crack on with tonight's action as Duck sets out to do some skateboard tricks over Kickflip.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Away we go then for the final heat of LEGO Wars Series 6, and we kick things off with the runners-up from last series, the second seeds Duck. Of course, the second time they finished second in a full LEGO Wars competition. Last time around they made it all the way to the grand final to lose out to eventual winners Slammer. Of course, they're taking on rookies for this week in Kickflip. A similar style of robot to Huge. It's closer to a Huge than a Star Child, let's say that much. The idea is to drive over the robot and the weapon is spinning down into the floor, so it causes damage to the opponent's top armour and trying to disembowel them that way. Although so far the damage sustained to Kickflip has been by itself, its own volition, hitting Duck and kind of shattering on impact basically. Duck at the moment stuck upside down. Are they struggling here with their own signal issues in the shed at the moment? I think they might be. Can they right themselves from this position here? They don't want to let Kickflip drive over the top of them, not whilst all their inners are exposed like that. Good self-righting there from Duck, and back into the action goes the runners-up from last series. Big impact again there, more damage sustained to Kickflip from its own weapon. A lot of energy going through the weapon system on Kickflip, and when it comes into a very solid object in the form of Duck, a lot of the time they can sustain damage to themselves, and we've seen that thus far throughout this fight. We've not really seen Duck take too many big shots to its own machine, basically. It's just rebounding all the energy back into Kickflip. Good driving thus far from Duck, trying to keep out of the way of that spinning weapon at the rear of Kickflip. Looks like a bit of a menace, doesn't it, Kickflip, when it's moving around like that, although Duck hits the pit button. Kickflip! Oh, rookie mistake, caught on the pit lip and falls down the pit. It's a win and 3 points for Duck. A steady but not spectacular opener here in this fight. Duck were panicking maybe a little bit when they got turned over, or they turned themselves over rather, taking on Kickflip there. They were hoping that Kickflip wouldn't just drive over them and just destroy all their electronics, but they managed to avoid that fate. Kickflip failing to capitalise. Maybe some naivety from the rookies in this fight. Duck eventually taking control, opening the pit, and Kickflip driving themselves down after getting caught on the lip.
Kickflip appears to be dismantling itself throughout that fight as the second seeds get off to a solid start. Let's see if Kraken can do the same now against Cow Tools.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Off we go then for fight number 2. We see the 27th seeds Kraken taking on Cow Tools. Kraken, of course, were runners-up going into last series in its sophomore season. They were unfortunately beaten in the round of 32 after a little bit of a disappointing campaign by the lofty standards they set themselves going into last series. Cow Tools is a sophomore robot this time around. They were rookies in the last series. They made it to the play-ins where they were knocked out there by Flashover Delta. So again, no disgrace there from Cow Tools. They've made some upgrades over the off-season. They've got this new spinning disc at the rear, which they're hoping is going to cause more damage potential. And we're seeing damage potential output here. Look, the side armour of Kraken ripped away. Of course, there's Mini Milk, the mini-bot of Cow Tools as well. A decent little mini-bot as well it is. Damage sustained there to Kraken. Again, bits and pieces spread across the arena from the Cowl Tools weapon. They're hoping to get a better run of it this time around. In underneath goes Mini Milk fighting Kraken. Kraken, that head this series is now static, I'm told, so it's not going to lift up and down like it used to. It's more of a reach vertical spinner this time around, as opposed to just whatever the kind of grabbing spinner thing was they had in the previous series. Cowl Tools going for the pit button whilst Mini Milk pins Kraken in the other corner. Cowl Tools failing to activate the pit though on 1, 2, 3 occasions thus far. Mini Milk sitting in the middle of the arena. Cowl Tools still having its own personal fight with the pit button all the while. Mini Milk is taking shot after shot from Kraken. Disappointing there from Cowl Tools that they weren't able to open the pit after 3 or 4 attempts to try to open it. Kraken finally getting a couple of shots off of its own on Cowl Tools. More damage certainly sustained thus far by Kraken, but Cowl Tools isn't capitalising, is it? The weapon at the rear still spins. It doesn't look as stable as it once did.
Eat milk.
And more damage sustained there by Mini Milk as it goes into Kraken. The weapon of Cowl Tools up to speed again. Can it bring it to bear on Kraken? Kraken retreats and comes back in on another onslaught, but again, no real damage sustained by Cowl Tools. It's a sturdy old thing, is Cowl Tools. And pinned back into the corner is Kraken. Interesting fight between the two thus far. No one's really landed any big knockout blows, and there goes a chain of some description. I wonder who that's come from. I think it's from the weapon of Cowl Tools. It is. The Cowl Tools weapon has now stopped. So, in terms of weapon effectiveness, that is going to affect Cowl Tools. Certainly should we go to the judges in this fight. Cowl Tools certainly limited on its effectiveness now. Good push again by Kraken. Kraken, that shot may well have swung it in their favour. We've got 5 seconds remaining to see if there's going to be another late twist in the tail. There isn't. We go to
6.
time between Kraken and Cowl Tools. I would not want to be a judge for that one. It was a very, very close match. Early on, we saw the upgraded weaponry of Cowl Tools doing its job and causing damage to Kraken. Even a drive chain was removed, but that didn't affect the former runners-up and the current 27th seeds in this fight. Cowl Tools, though, we did see one of their components fail later on, and Kraken, of course, had its own private fight with Mini Milk whilst Cowl Tools was trying to open the pit. This is, I feel, the key moment of the fight where Cowl Tools' weapon is disabled by losing the chain.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Kraken. That was getting a little painful from Cowl Tools on the pit button, so it's only fair the 27th seeds get the 2 points. Duck, meanwhile, has a shot of extending their lead at the top against the Ice Climbers.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Our final robot to feature then in LEGO Wars Series 6 are the Ice Climbers. Last time around they made it all the way to the Pleiades, where they also lost to Flashover Delta, much like Cowl Tools did. Popo is the blue one, Nana is the red one, taking on the runners-up from last series. Duck, of course, got a good 3-point victory in its first fight, and so far under the cosh from the Ice Climbers. Good start from the clusterbot. They are a menace to deal with in the arena. They're so fast around the arena, and they have caused damage to Duck already, and Duck under pressure from the get-go. Popo and Nana teaming up very well. In underneath goes Popo, has got Duck caught on one of its wheels, can't get away, but it means that Nana has free rein just to nudge Duck around the arena. The Ice Climbers rebuilt from the ground up for this series of LEGO Wars, and Duck here in all kinds of peril at the moment and stuck on top of one of the Ice Climbers. Can they get down? The second seeds trying to escape, and over goes the Ice Climber back on its wheels now, and Duck also back on its wheels as well. And pit burn activated by Duck. They think they can get the Ice Climbers down the pit and maybe get a victory in this fight, but I don't know, the drive power of the Ice Climbers is so severe. I don't know how Duck's going to deal with them, but they're doing okay at the moment. They're still, I'd say, the more controlled, aggressive threat in the arena. The Ice Climbers just pure chaos. I don't think they know what they're doing, to be honest with you. I certainly don't know what they're doing. Ice Climber Popo caught there by Duck on top of Duck. Great control from the lifter. Brings it all the way round and trying to hold Popo on top of Duck, and the head of the Ice Climber has been ripped away, and indeed has the wheel of the Ice Climber. That is not what you want to see if you're an Ice Climbers fan. The drive system completely destroyed, the robot completely destroyed, and it's down really to Nana to deal with Duck in the arena. Good control once again from Duck here, has Nana in the corner, caught on the screws. Good control again from the second seeds, a lot more measured and calm now. Nana trying to get away. Can they do so? Popo, it's just completely destroyed in the centre of the arena, and I think immobilised and beaten. So we are down to one Ice Climber in this fight, taking on Duck. And thus far, you have to say Duck has got the measure of their opponents. If they can take it to time, you think, well, they've beaten 50% of their opponents. Surely it's a foregone conclusion and a formality that Duck will get another 2 points to their campaign for this series. But you never know. The judges have made some peculiar decisions before, and who knows if it'll even go to the judges. You've got the enormous drive power of Nana still in the arena and present, and Duck has now stopped in the centre of the arena. Good control once again from the Ice Climber Nana. Duck is having some severe thermal cutout issues, but I think it's going to be saved by the timer in the corner. A few seconds left for Nana to turn the tide of the fight. It's not going to happen. We go to time between the two, and the judges between the second seeds Duck and the Ice Climbers. Always great to see the Ice Climbers causing their chaos in the arena, and Duck was struggling to deal with it for quite a while in this fight. They really struggled to get away early on. They were taking a ride on Nana early doors as well, but this is the moment I feel like the fight changed, where Duck were able to disintegrate Popo, completely destroyed on the arena floor, and from then on in it was a easier 1v1 fight for them.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Duck.
Definite Duck, JD.
Yeah. Just about. I think at the start I was like just stuck on blue. I was like, I can't get off. How does one get off?
Get this hot down the pit, please.
On my grief.
Some bizarre gymnastics from Duck takes them to victory, and at long last, one of our top 4 seeds looks like it's going to make the bracket. Cowtools, meanwhile, are hoping for a more powerful showing as they take on Kickflip.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Off we go then. 2 robots with losing starts to their campaigns in LEGO Wars Series 6. Kickflip taking on Cowtools. Cowtools, of course, the Beetleweight built by Henry Strang, and Kickflip, the Beetleweight built by Alex Shakespeare. I don't think I've ever fought, but in the LEGO Wars arena they certainly will be. They are currently doing so. Friends outside the arena, enemies within it. Who will take home victory today between these two? Cowtools trying to bring their weapon into play on the wheels of Kickflip. Kickflip, we didn't really get to see the weapon do too much in the first fight, but they may be able to be more effective here, although the drive of Kickflip is certainly looking like it's suffering at the moment, and Mini Milk causing all kinds of carnage and disruption for Kickflip. The weapon of Kickflip has stopped, and I think one of the bracing arms look of Kickflip have also come off, and the weapon is now scraping along the floor. You can see it bouncing and bobbling, and it's not looking too pretty now for Kickflip, is it? Can they open the pit button? It may be their only hope. I think they're too tall for the pit button, actually. Cowtools comes in, Mini Milk hits the pit button, doesn't get the pit down again, and again, and again. That's 3 attempts from Mini Milk. No dice there. 4, 5, and there goes a wheel of Kickflip, though. They may not need the pit. If Cowtools can do damage like that again on the other side of their opponents, Kickflip in real trouble now. I don't think they're going to be able to recover in this fight. Cowtools finally gets the pit open, and I think Kickflip here, despite the ingenuity and the great design, I don't think he's going to have much more of a future in this fight. Meanwhile, Mini Milk is sweeping up. Kickflip's in the pit, by the way, so the fight is over as a match, but Mini Milk having some fun with the discarded wheel of Kickflip. Kickflip is beaten, and it's 3 points on the board and a good recovery from Cowtools. I fear it could be a long night in store for Kickflip. They really did struggle to get some engagement with their weapon once again, but let's have a look at the main highlight of the fight here. Mini Milk pushing the wheel of Kickflip around the arena floor, sweeping up beautifully whilst the big boys fought in the arena. Yes, okay, Cowtools removed the wheel of Kickflip, and yes, Kickflip ended up down the pit, but this was the main highlight, wasn't it? Mini Milk pushing the wheel around. A great display of control from the Mini-Bot.
Poor Mini Milk brought the brunt of Kickflip's spinner before the wheels fell off of their charge. Those points for Cowtools though push Kraken down the leaderboard, and the 27 seeds won't be wanting to linger around there for too much long as they now face the Ice Climbers.
One. Activate.
Away we go then, Kraken looking for back-to-back victories to follow on from their JD victory over Cowtools. The Ice Climbers need to recover, and quickly, from a JD defeat to duck in their first fight of the night. Kraken's weapon now up to speed, although it doesn't look healthy, does it? That's for certain. The Ice Climbers trying to pick their shots on the 27th seeds Kraken here, and Kraken trying to get that weapon to spin up nicely, but it isn't really doing so. The Ice Climbers circling, and how do you deal with the Ice Climbers if you're Kraken? Do you try and just swipe one of them? I don't know. Down comes the hammer of the Ice Climber. Popo on the side of Kraken. They've caved in the armour and have removed a drive chain as well, so Kraken will not be driving as happily as they would have been otherwise. The Ice Climbers swarming their opponents. How do you stop this? Because they're so fast, they can just go around your opponent so quickly. Kraken here, they've got their work cut out, certainly, the 27th seeds. Now that weapon's up to speed, they're looking pretty good now, but again, doesn't really get a big contact. They get Popo stuck underneath the spinner. That's good control from Kraken, but can they capitalise? No, they can't. Popo gets away. Now stuck on the lip of the pit. Can they get away from there? Yes, they can. And there goes another drive side, well, certainly the arm of the drive side of Kraken. And there goes the hammer of Nana. So the pick has been removed. What effectiveness do the Ice Climbers have otherwise? The pit has been activated, though, by Popo, and Kraken has been caught on the lip of the pit. And this is a precarious position here. The drive chain snaps and down the pit goes Kraken. It's a knockout win in the end for the Ice Climbers, and they'll be delighted with that result, that's for sure. Key feature, I feel like, in this fight was, in my opinion, the fact that Kraken were unable to deal with the pair of the Ice Climbers. They were overwhelmed right from the start. They weren't able to capitalise and get a foothold in the fight, and the Ice Climbers really did just get a good foothold early on. Yes, I know Nana lost her pick, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. The pit was opened. Down the pit went Kraken. Work to do for the 27th seeds.
Some excellent teamwork from Popo and Nana moves them equal with Cowtools at the halfway stage of the final heat. For first place Duck though, they have a brilliant chance to secure their place in the bracket in a couple of weeks' time should they defeat the Cowtools Mini Milk combo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
For the final time this series, it is time for your grades halfway through the heat. And how would you assess these two thus far? I would say for Duck, you've got to give them certainly a B, maybe even an A, considering the fact that they've not lost a fight yet. They've won one by JD and one by knockout. Cowtools, I'm going to give them a B as well. They've won one fight, lost one fight. Of course, they lost the fight via JD, and of course, they've recovered quite well here, and they're taking on Duck, and they've ripped a wheel off the second seeds almost immediately. Although that said, Mini Milk is stuck against the arena side wall, but that is not the pressing matter in the arena currently. Duck down one wheel. How will they react to that? Their drive certainly isn't as happy as it once was. We know that Duck massively rely on the control factor in terms of judging criteria, and this is going to limit them massively. Up and over goes Mini Milk. That's over and done with, and over and out for Mini Milk, but Cowtools now have got an opportunity to cause a real upset, and there goes another wheel. Ironically, probably improving the control of Duck there quite a lot. But it is now just down to the two wheels. And Duck here will know they're in a real fight against Cowtools. Cowtools causing damage to Duck on 2 of the 4 corners thus far. Duck tries to get the lifter in again, doesn't manage to do so. Down it comes once more, protecting those now very vulnerable front wheels. They'll be conscious of losing those as well. Good lift there from Duck, although Cowtools precariously balanced on the front end of Duck. Duck levers itself up and over and rights itself, and up and over and rights itself, or doesn't right itself. Are they going to bring the weapon back around again? Duck here though, stuck in the centre of the arena. Back into the action again now. Chasing down their opponent's Cowtools. I think so far you'd have to say Cowtools on top. Duck the second seeds behind the 8 ball currently. Cowtools here with a victory. Be looking pretty good at the top of the table for now. 7 points on the board from 3 fights. They'll be very, very happy with that, certainly. They'll take it. Duck tries to come back into the action. If they win, of course, this fight by knockout, they'll be on to 8 points. So, and that's almost an unassailable position for Duck. So they'll be hoping to get a knockout victory here against Cowtools. Cowtools spins the tail round once again, and Duck, oh, poor mistake driving, and down the pit go the second seeds. Cowtools picks up all 3 points in this fight. What an upset. The usual perfect balance and poise of Duck was ruined almost immediately there, where the first wheel came off, and the subsequent second wheel falling off shortly later definitely didn't help matters either. There it goes. Mini Milk, a non-factor in this fight, but what was a factor, like I said, the balance of Duck was certainly disrupted by Cowtools, and I think that is what led to the driving mistake, which ultimately cost Duck the fight. They slipped into the pit, and they defeated Duck.
No such luck for Duck this time as they fall down the pit, giving the overall lead tonight to the Fagonising Machine. Down at the bottom though, Kickflip must find a way to knock out the 27th seeds to have any chance of staying in the competition.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
What would you grade these two then? Thus far, you'd have to say maybe Kraken on a D. They lost one fight by KO and won one by JD. Kickflip, I'm going to have to give them an F. Unfortunately, no points on the board and a real struggle thus far in this heat. We are now seeing that weapon cause damage, although Kickflip have now stopped in the middle of the arena and are not progressing around the arena. Damage sustained once again by Kickflip. Kraken's weapon up to speed. Kraken here in the pound seat, and Kickflip are immobilised almost immediately. That is such a shame. We are going to say goodbye to Kickflip at this very early stage. They are defeated and I think pretty much out of the heat. Kraken picking up all 3 points and recovering very well from that previous defeat. Oh dear, Kickflip, what happened to you? A very disappointing end to any Kickflip competitiveness in this series. Hopefully David can let us know what happened in the interim here, where this impact here shuts down the robot Kickflip. Kraken will just be happy to have 3 points on the board, I'm sure. A good recovery from them, and hopefully more to come.
With Kickflip refusing to elaborate and shutting down, they're now out as Kraken draws even with their fellow seeds, leaving us with some serious stakes going into their clash at the end. In the meantime, Cowtools can wrap up first place with a KO, but the Ice Climbers still have a shot at the bracket too, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out top.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Off we go there between Ice Climbers and Cowtools. Ice Climbers, I'm going to give them a C. A victory over Kraken in the last fight, of course, pitting the 27 seeds, but a JD loss sort of prevents them from going any higher, and off comes one of the wheels immediately of Nana, and that's going to be a huge problem in this match for Nana. They're going to be compromised from almost activate. There are some heat permutations for you here, by the way. If Cowtools is victorious in this fight, by any means, I think, they have won the heat. So it's a real big opportunity for Cowtools to take home a bit of a scalp going into the bracket. I think they're all not quite guaranteed a spot in the bracket, but they're almost guaranteed a spot in the bracket. They do need to finish the job of the Ice Climbers. I think the other wheel of Nana has been compromised as well. They got hit by Cowtools, and I think that wheel is coming off slowly but surely. Ice Climbers need to get a victory here. They still have an opportunity to win this heat themselves. They have 2 fights remaining. If they get anything out of this fight and the next fight, they're, I think, pretty much, again, guaranteed at least a play-in berth. So, yeah, let's see how they get on here. Cowtools currently on 7 points. Ice Climbers currently on 4, and that may become 4 still for the Ice Climbers because Nana is hovering over the pit. Can they get away from there? I don't think they're going to be able to. You'll, of course, notice there's no Mini Milk in this fight just due to a lack of controllers, but, you know, let's not break the immersion and the, you know, a little sneak behind the curtain here. Cowtools under pressure from now Popo. Popo bringing that hammer down over and over and over again. Nana is down the pit and defeated. So I think, again, Cowtools is one true goal in this fight now is make it to the judges and you're through, lads. Oh, but look at that! The weapon spun round of Popo, and you just saw there the chassis just completely fail on Popo. And I think that is going to be that in this fight. Cowtools has won it, and indeed has won the heat. Brilliant work from Cowtools. It's a defeat for the Ice Climbers in this match. Cowtools moves on to 10 points and wins the heat. A word quickly then on Cow Tools. They are the heat winners and well deserved through to the bracket. Go Cow Tools this time around. As for the Ice Climbers, their heat is not over yet. They still have a chance to at least guarantee a play-in berth. They do need to win their next fight though against the currently pointless Kickflip. But yeah, a rude awakening in this fight. Cow Tools victorious in the end, and work to do for the Ice Climbers. Can they recover in the next fight?
Popo just decides to disassemble itself Petunia style, meaning Cow Tools will finish the night on top. Despite the damage to the Ice Climbers, they still have a shot at the bracket, and a KO over current pointless Kickflip would really add some spice to our seeds clash, so let's see if they can still finish the job.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Off we go then for our penultimate fight of the entire heat process of LEGO Wars Series 6, and here are your heat permutations for you then. If the Ice Climbers win by knockout, they are guaranteed at least a place in the play-ins. That is because both of the robots currently competing with them are the two seeded machines. They are both on 5. Neither of them can both win, if that makes sense. So they can't both win, and therefore one of them will have to lose, and therefore will finish behind them. Oh, but damage sustained by Popo immediately. Look at that, just shedding debris all over the arena floor. Kickflip, meanwhile, they're on no points. They do not want to join Weld or M, Blue, and Positively Hysterical to be the 4th robot this series with no points in the heat. So that is their kind of goal for this fight. Play party pooper for the Ice Climbers. Can the Ice Climbers, though, respond in turn? Well, Popo certainly can't. It's been completely eviscerated on the arena floor and just destroyed in the corner. Look at that. So we're down to 1. Nana taking on Kickflip then for the right to get through to the play-ins. And at the moment, they're stuck on the arena sidewall, and in comes Kickflip once again. And damage sustained by Nana. Completely destroyed at the rear end. There is Nana. And that is a real problem for them now, because they had such a great position to make it through to the play-ins. But now Kickflip is going to get some points on the board, I think, because Nana is immobilised. Popo is completely destroyed in the corner of the arena as well. What an absolutely atrocious ending to this heat it's been for the Ice Climbers. They're being counted down and counted out. It's a victory against all odds for Kickflip, who are going to score some points in their rookie series. Well done to them, but look at the devastation for the Ice Climbers, beaten here
6.
twice in a row, and it means they fall into 4th place guaranteed. What a shocker. I believe the term "don't count your chickens" is very apt in this situation, because the Ice Climbers surely were going into this fight confident of getting 3 points and a knockout victory over the pointless, thus far, Kickflip, but it wasn't to be. Destroyed Popo in the corner there. Look at that, just completely broken apart once again, and Nana getting stuck on the arena sidewall with its forks was open season for Kickflip. Kickflip plays party pooper, Ice Climbers go out.
A moment of silence for Popo as they get eviscerated by a finally functional Kickflip as they end Ice Climbers' campaign for Series 6. With the Frosty scare out of the way, we're left with 2 former grand finalists fighting it out for the last confirmed bracket space, so let's see if Duck can bounce back from that earlier pitting, or will Kraken consign all 4 of our top seeds into the play-ins.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Our final fight then of the heat stage is Kraken versus Duck. The 2nd seeds, Duck taking on the 27th seeds. Kraken, 2 former runners-up, in Duck's case of course, twice former runners-up. These are your heat permutations for you then. Both of these two will make it to at least the play-ins. The winner of this fight goes through to the bracket. It is that simple. No other permutations can be had. The winner of the heat is Cow Tools. We know that. They can't be caught. They're on 10 points. Both of these two currently on 5. Ice Climbers on 4. And then we have Kickflip on 3 now after that victory over the Ice Climbers. So a win here for either of these two puts them into the bracket. The loser will have to fight their way through the play-ins. The extra fight may... sorry, 2 fights, sorry, to get through the play-ins. Very, very important on the wear and tear of the machines. Never a guarantee that, you know, you're going to make it through that extra couple of fights through the gauntlets that is the bracket and the play-ins. So victory here for either of these two, crucial. Thus far, you'd have to say probably Duck just about on top of that. That's a good push back there by Kraken, getting Duck caught into the corner, and good aggression once again by Kraken, getting Duck stuck against the arena side wall. They try They drive on their end. That's very exciting from Duck. Weapon up speed again though from Kraken. Duck stops it in its tracks momentarily. Can they self-right Duck? Yes, they can. Back on their wheels the correct way and brings their plough to go head-to-head with with Kraken's spinning weapon at the front. Kraken once again in on the attack. Good push back here from Duck, the second seeds. A tentative fight between the two. Lots of permutations on the line, of course. Like I said, if you go into the play-ins, it's an extra 2 fights that you don't really want to have to do if you can avoid it. And Kraken trying their best to push Duck towards the pit. Didn't quite get them down there though, and Duck responds by trying to push Kraken towards that short corner by the pit. Good aggression once again here from Kraken. A lift up from Duck, trying to get Kraken towards that pit of oblivion. Doesn't quite manage to get it down though. The weapon of Kraken up to speed once again and comes into contact with Duck. Kraken caught by the pit now. Can they get away from there? Duck in control at the moment. Swung back and forth between the two thus far. Both highly respected machines in the pits. Duck, of course, twice former runners-up. Kraken just the one time, but in its debut series, of course, made it all the way to the grand final. Lost there to Tantrum. If you remember back to LEGO World Series 4, and Duck dips a wheel into the pit, but not quite down it. And Kraken sits in the corner trying to pull Duck in, and Duck takes the bait, but responds well. We're down to the last 10 seconds. The fight has flown by. The judges are going to have to decide who is going through to the bracket. The final spot in the bracket is on the line between Kraken and Duck. We go to time. I do not envy the judges. That was a really, really tough fight, and a cagey fight, certainly. One final spot remains then in the bracket, and it will be taken up by one of these two. The other will take the last remaining berth in the play-ins. A good back and forth between two, like I said, very highly respected machines in the field. Kraken and Duck going head-to-head over and over again. Good control by Kraken early, and I feel like they had the upper hand in most of the early exchanges. Got Duck stuck against the arena sidewall. Towards the end of the fight, though, it was Duck responding well. I have no idea who's won this one.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Duck. A tense fight to complete the heats, but it is the second seed's Duck just edging through to take the final confirmed bracket spot. It's been another solid night of fighting to close out the heats, as despite having some troubles with the pit button, Cowtools brings home the heat win alongside Duck, ensuring we have another top seed in the bracket. That's all from us tonight, but join us next time as Kraken joins its fellow third place finishers and the successful wildcards Slammo and Nibbler as they fight it out for the remaining bracket positions. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
I've proven to myself Kickflip drives upside down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And that has ended Ice Climber's chances.
Thank Christ.
Right.
Let's just go back in the box now.
We just thought initially when Blue had its face torn out, and it was just like, oh, I can fit underneath it now.